Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with Point Firearms, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about food storage again and canning as well. So we're going to be doing a little bit of canning, a little bit of food storage, all combined for one great goal of having some backup food and supplies if we need it. Today what we're going to be going over is canning milk. Alright, it's kind of a controversial subject. I've done some research on it, and I've actually been doing a lot of research on it, and most canners that I've talked to, they're like, no way, you can't can milk, it's just not safe or healthy or whatever. And but then some that I've talked to, or some of the research that I've done, all the evidence points to the fact that I can milk. One of the big pieces of evidence is when you go in the grocery store, you can buy shelf-stable potable milk, or also like evaporated milk. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we've got, right here, some evaporated milk in my cabinets right now. And this stuff says it's good. Well, it said it was best by January 4th, 2010. It's been a couple years, but I'm sure it's still good. But I guess the big benefit in canning milk is obviously, for worst case scenario, milk is not the cheapest thing out there to buy. Right now where we're at, we've got the chickens or whatever, but having a cow just wouldn't be, I guess, practical. And it's going to be a little while before we can get our land purchased down south and start to build a homestead. And at that point in time, I'd like to have some cows. But even at that, I may not have milk cows. I may have beef cows. I don't know. So being able, right now, I know that I can afford milk. Being able to put back a little bit of milk, for a worst case scenario is a great idea. To still be able to cook with and drink, and because it's got all the vitamins and nutrients in it, it's just a great thing to have in your food storage. Now, like I said, there's a lot of controversy in milk and milk safety and FDA bullcrap and all this other stuff. And here's kind of the way I look at milk. Me and my dad were talking, and as far as pasteurized milk and all these regulations that FDA puts on milk, it's not that the milk that comes out of the cow is bad for you. Raw cow's milk is not bad for you. As a matter of fact, it's better for you than store-bought milk. God created it, God designed it, and that's good enough for me. I mean, that's if He made animals for us to use, then I'm sure they didn't have ways of pasteurizing milk back then, and so I think that, in my opinion, raw cow's milk is probably going to be the most healthy thing for you out of any milks. Always the real thing is always better than the fake stuff. That's the way I look at it, at least. And so being in Wisconsin, I thought, well, I drive around behind all these cars, and their license plate says Wisconsin, the dairy land or something like that on it. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm in the land of dairy right now, why can't I buy any raw cow's milk? I've asked around, I've talked to, several people, farmers, milk truck drivers, everybody, and I don't know if it's just because it's against the law here to sell raw milk that they won't, sell me any. They're afraid, that I'm going to rat on them, or I'm undercover FDA or whatever, but for whatever reason, I can't buy any raw cow's milk, and it drives me nuts. So what I've done is, we actually have, in Wisconsin, we have what's called Quick Trip. It's a local convenience store, / gas station, whatever you want to call it. They have really good food, by the way, but they have their own dairy or milk producer. They make their own cheeses, milks, everything. It's all owned by that company, and those Quick Trips are all over the place up here. But their milk, I know it's local, and I know it's fresh. They get their milk fresh from their dairy farms, and so I know it's good fresh milk. It's out of Wisconsin here, so I know it's good. It has been pasteurized, but it's the closest thing I can get to actual raw milk right now. So that's what I'm going to use. And normally me and my wife drink 2% milk, but so for this, what I've done is I've gotten whole milk. Whole milk obviously is going to be a little bit better for you. We just drink 2% milk to help cut back on fat a little bit. But in the process of canning it, we're going to lose some of the thickness and the nutrients that are in milk. So if we started with 2% milk, it would be more like drinking skim milk by the time we got done processing it. So I'm hoping with whole milk that we're going to end up with something like 2% milk, or the equivalent to 2% milk. So that's what I'm hoping for. This is the first time I've ever done it, and so it's going to be an experiment, and we'll see how it works, how it tastes, how it lasts, and things like that. So stick with me and we'll get started. Alright, so let's start with our jars. I'm going to be using quart jars. I did find one video on YouTube about canning milk that I actually enjoyed, and it was by the Prepper's Wife. She's got some good videos on there, so go check her out. But I'm going to be using sort of her formula. We're just going to change it up just a little bit. She actually canned pints of milk, and I don't know about you, but you know, milk comes in a gallon jug, and you know, I think a pint, that's a waste of jars for me. Canning a bunch of pint jars. A quart, you know, obviously I'm going to can it, I'm going to put it on the shelf, and when I need it, I'm going to take that quart and I'm going to put it in the fridge to let it chill. You know, worst case scenario, if I don't have a refrigerator to use it, to keep it cool, I don't have power or whatever, then you could drink it right off the shelf. It would be a little warm, but you could use it for cereal or whatever. It will be shelf stable. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. So I'm going to can it in quarts as opposed to pints, just so I've got a little bit more mass. Now, of course, with anything, but even more specifically with milk, we want to reduce the chance of any bacteria or anything like that to growing in it. So I've got my quart jars here. I've already washed them, and then I put them in the oven and let them heat up to dry and also to help sterilize. And I've got them sitting here. Now, at this point in time, they're pretty cool right now. You want to make sure and leave them and let them cool back off a little bit. And we don't want to go ahead and turn our water on our pot yet, because you know, cold liquids, cold milk, and hot glass don't mix. So what we're doing is letting the jars cool off. And I haven't turned the water on my canner yet to start heating up. I've got about 2 inches of water in the bottom of my canner, and I've added a few tablespoons of vinegar to help keep it from fogging over. So, like I said, these are pretty much good to go now as far as cooled off. This is the milk we're going to be using. It is Nature's Own vitamin D whole milk, and like I said, it's really fresh. They get it from their dairy every day, fresh milk. You can always tell how fresh it is, especially from these people. The sell-by date is July 20th. Today's July 4th. So, you know, that's a big difference compared to like going to Walmart and buying their milk that may just be 4 or 5 days from the sell-by date. So you can tell it's a lot fresher by that. So we've got our quart jars here. They've cooled off. We've got our milk. So I'm going to go ahead and pour our milk into our jars, and I'm going to leave about probably about an inch headspace on them. Alright, so we've got our 6 quarts here. Now, you could do more than that. I've got half a gallon left in that jug. You could do more than that if you wanted. My canner only holds 7 quarts, it says, so I'm just going to go with 6. Like I said, this is experimental for me. I've never canned milk before, and so we're going to see how it turns out. Shouldn't be any need to wipe your rims off if you washed your jars and you've put them in there and let them dry. There shouldn't be anything on the rim as long as you didn't spill any milk on it. And I was careful not to. So next thing we're going to do is go ahead and cap our jars. I've had my lids still in here, or warming up here in the water. I'm going to just go ahead and we'll center that. And then put our bands or rings on. Just go finger tight with it. ahead and put them in our canner. Remember, I don't have our canner on yet, so we're going into lukewarm water. I don't know how I would fit 7 quarts in here. Well, maybe. Yeah, I would. Just like that. Alright, so we've got those in there now. We should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put our lid on. Good and tight there. And we'll go ahead and crank it up. Now, like I said, this is kind of experimental. Based on what the prepper's wife did. What she did was she kind of found a middle of the road compared to some of the research she did, and she canned her pints at 10 pounds. What she did was she turned it on, let it vent for 10 minutes like normal, added her weight, and then she brought it up to 10 pounds of pressure, and as soon as it hit 10 pounds of pressure, she cut the heat off and let it completely cool on its own. So I'm thinking in this case, all we're doing is sealing. We're not really doing anything to the milk. It's already been pasteurized. So all we're doing is wanting to kill or seal it up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to let it heat up, let it vent for 10 minutes. And once it's vented for 10 minutes, then I'll add the weight, let the pressure build to 10 pounds, and then turn the heat off. So I'll be back with you guys in a little bit once it vents, and we can start our pressure canning. Alright guys, so we've been venting for about 10 minutes now. It took an hour and about 8 minutes from being completely cool to come up to start venting, and then I've been letting it vent for about 10 minutes, so we're in an hour and 18 minutes now. You know, it's not always going to be the same. It's going to depend on how warm it is in your kitchen, you know, what your elevation is, what kind of stove you're using, so it just varies, but it took mine an hour and 18 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put the weight on, and that back there is going to start rocking, and then once the pressure has built, that'll pop up, and that means we have a good vacuum lock inside of our canner, and then we're going to watch our needle. We're going to watch it jump up to 10 pounds. Once it hits 10 pounds, I'm going to turn the heat off and let it naturally cool down. So I'll be back with you once I've hit the 10 pounds, cut it off, and it's cooled down, and we get ready to open it. There it goes, it's sealed up now, so now our pressure will start climbing. I'll be back once it's all finished and let you know how long it took, and we'll look at the end result. Alright guys, so it's been an hour and 12 minutes from the time that we added the weight. It only took 14 minutes for it to get up to 10 pounds of pressure. So it's taken almost an hour to drop the pressure back down. You can see back here that our popper's down, and when we touch our weight, there's no air coming out of it or steam coming out of it, so that means that we're completely out of pressure. So we're going to go ahead and open it up. We just want to be sure that when we open it away from us, so that steam can escape through the back. Alright, now let's see what it looks like. Some of these look really good. And then, oh, that's on the outside. Okay. So we got a little bit of looks like just kind of caramelized milk on the outside there. But that should rub off after it dries, after it cools. The milk looks good though. It's not dark. still got a light creamy color. Still looks really milky, so it's got good flow. It's not thick, so hopefully when it cools down we won't have caramelized milk. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna let this cool for probably I don't know, 12 hours or so till tomorrow morning. And then once it cools, then I will bring it back on. I think I'm going to go ahead and crack one open for you guys, and we'll test the taste. We'll do some different taste tests with it and see what it looks like. Alright, so see you guys in the morning. Alright guys, so it is the next evening now, and our milk has finished cooling, and I've taken the bands off, wiped the thing off, and labeled it. But last night, after I got done and after everything cooled, I went ahead and stuck one in the fridge, just for a test, just to see, you know, what cooking it in a pressure canner would do to it. Seal was very good when I broke it, and it's pretty milky still. It's got a little bit of a half and half look. It's a little creamy, a little bit more creamy looking color than regular milk, but the taste is really good. It's got a smell like evaporated milk. That's what it tastes like. It's a little bit milkier than evaporated milk, but it smells just like evaporated milk. So basically what you have is evaporated milk, I guess. Like I said, still got a little bit of the milk taste, not as much as the evaporated milk taste, but for the price, I'd say it's pretty good. We got 12 fluid ounces of evaporated milk, and 12 fluid ounces is about, let's see, 8 ounces is a cup, so a cup and a half of evaporated milk, and that was about $2.20 for that one can. As with this, you're looking at a full quart of evaporated milk, basically for about $1.25 a quart. Actually, it's probably not even that much, to be honest with you. More like $1 a quart with the jar. Yeah, because 4 quarts in a gallon. So yeah, it would be about $1 a quart with the jar included in that. So you can get this for $2.50 or this for $1, and I'll take this because I know where it came from. But anyway, like I said, it tastes good even cold. But what I want to do is, I've never tried to mix evaporated milk with chocolate mix. So what I wanted to do is take a little bit of our milk, and if this works, I have succeeded, because my wife loves chocolate milk. So as long as she can still make her chocolate milk, then we will be good to go. Tastes like chocolate milk to me. Alright guys, so anyway, that is canning milk. It tastes good. Not as milky as what I would like, but not bad. Not as bad as drinking evaporated milk out of a can. Especially cold, you can't tell a big difference. So yeah, I'm gonna put these in the pantry, in the food storage, and maybe in about 6 months I'll break one of them out and we'll crack it open and see how it looks. All right, just to see how it holds up or whatever. But I think it's gonna be just fine. Knowing now that it's basically the consistency of evaporated milk, I think we'll be fine. So anyway, guys, until next time, get out there, shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. Thanks for watching.